Hamilton. Save by Alyssa Naeher.
It's the Alyssa Naeher game.
Terrific save from Alyssa Naeher.
The pinnacle of their sport. Making the Olympics isn't far behind.
And you can tell she has not lost any of the touch that makes her one of the most unique players in the NWSL.
And she gets it.
Hey guys, Andy McDermott here with Intentional Sports. We have a very special guest, Alyssa Naeher, Chicago Red Stars goalkeeper, U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper, all-around superhero. She is joining us today for the Game Changers podcast. Where we talk to someone whose life has been changed by the game and who is going to use the game to change other people's lives. And I think it's fair to say she already is. So Alyssa, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Andy.
Start with quick, what does life look like for you right now? You know, what's an average day as you're right in the middle of your season?
Yeah, we're getting now towards the end. We got about 5 games left, and then hopefully the playoffs. So for me, typical day is I wake up early, I'll head over to the gym, get either a lift or some PT or just some, nothing like specific, but just more like prehab type stuff. And then I'll go to practice, come back, kind of just hang out in the afternoon, maybe go get some dinner with some friends and just kind of chill.
Nice. So how many hours a day are you dedicating to your craft all in?
I would say going to the gym and stuff in the morning is a combination of like lifting, sauna, pool, different stuff. So probably 90 minutes to 2 hours there, and then training's about 90 minutes. We usually have a meeting or something before. So pretty good chunk of the day right now.
Yeah.
But it's towards the end of the season, so I got to take care of the body and getting tired and having to kind of dig into that a little bit. So
Yeah, you spend a lot of time on a table getting your machine worked on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I always like to point that out to kids who think that being a pro soccer player is just playing the game, but there's a whole lot that goes into it.
For sure.
And then I have a all-important question as a youth soccer coach. I coach my daughter's team, 2010. We have an awesome young goalkeeper named Addie who hasn't hit her growth spurt yet, as is a common problem. And now we're in the big 11v11 goals.
Okay.
Did you go through a time in your life when you were not tall enough to reach the high lofted ball? And any tips for awesome Addie, shout out to Addie, for reaching those high shots? Is there any secrets?
Unfortunately, just got to grow, but
that's what I tell her.
It'll come. But I think that's always one of the hard things is when you start transitioning. Obviously, the goals get bigger and the balls get bigger with different things. So trying to adjust to that as you get older, but it'll come. It's trying not to get frustrated when there's kind of differentiating the goals or the mistakes, quote unquote, of like, can I actually not do that, or did I make an error? How can I fix it? How can I solve it? Obviously working on the athleticism side of it and being able to, jump and the vertical and all that. But yeah, it's just keep training it.
Yep. I tell her that maybe an hour a day she should just hang from the crossbar.
Yeah, right.
That just extends things. So let's start with the beginning for you. Segue from youth soccer. When did you start playing? What are your earliest memories of playing, and where was that?
It was Trumbull, Connecticut. Typical 5-year-old AYSO Saturday mornings, which has been fun now to watch. My nieces just both started playing soccer for the first time this fall at 6 and 4. So they were quite inspired from being in Paris at the Olympics the whole summer. So they came home and they asked to sign up for soccer, which for me was really cool because I've never really shown much interest in playing before. My nephew plays as well as a 9-year-old, but he's done it for a couple of years now. But mine was classic AYSO 5-year-old. Did it with my twin sister, so we just kind of had fun with it. we did pretty. I don't think we transitioned into any sort of like premier team or anything until we were like 13 or 14. Honestly, we played with the town pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah, I love that. I love to hear that. I kind of fight that battle with some kids who can't travel to that big, mega club or whatever. And I always tell them, look, you don't have to. There's work hard on some things. When did you start playing goalkeeper? Do you remember that?
Right from the beginning, I always loved.
Wow.
I just loved being in goal. Obviously, then you would kind of rotate through, but I also loved playing basketball. So for me to be able to like hand-eye coordination and to do that was always fun for me. But yeah, I always, even from 5, 6, I think when I was like 12 was when I was like, okay, I want to be a goalkeeper. But I always liked jumping in goal, even as a young one.
Mm-hmm. And how long did you play basketball? Was there a time when you decided, okay, soccer's it for me?
No, fortunately, I played all the way through high school.
Cool.
I would have loved to try to play in college too, but once I decided to go to a bigger school, a bigger program, just time-wise and commitment-wise, didn't make sense to attempt to do both. Wanted to give everything kind of to one, but no, I was able to play all the way through. I'm actually a huge advocate for kids to play more than one sport, and I'm very grateful that my parents helped push it as well, and coaches in different clubs were understanding at the time of, this is the time I'm going to play basketball. If and when I'm available, I'll come to practice or I'll come to a game. But like the winter season for me was all about basketball. And I've found it hugely helpful in my growth and development to not just specialize in one thing and not just prioritize one. I just think that the well-roundedness has served me really well.
I love that. I agree. We're a multi-sport family over here with 4 kids, and I just think it's so good for them to, there's different movement patterns, there's different, decision-making skills that you pick up, and also there's the point of, the dad who wants his kid to be a quarterback from age 5 and then ends up at age 18 and he's 5'4" or something, and that could have been the world's greatest shortstop or tennis player. You just never know. Right. I say let a kid try whatever he loves or she loves, right? So that's great. So you mentioned college. What was that process like? We deal with a lot of young people. We've had college ID days at In Touch with Sports who are thinking about playing in college. You probably got a lot of attention and a lot of offers, but how did you choose? Where did you end up going? How did you choose?
I ended up going to Penn State, and I think one of the best parts about college athletics is there's so many options. Whatever experience that you hope to have or that you want to have, you can have. And I think going through the experience of, the visits and choosing the college, I think, and even doing it alongside my twin sister as well, and we both went 2 very different paths, but we both had incredible experiences. And I knew that I wanted to try to play. I had been already with youth national team since I was 14, so I knew that I wanted to continue to try to make the full team, which meant a top 5, a top 10 college. I wanted to be able to compete for a national championship. I wanted to try to be a 4-time or a 4-year starter, so picking a program that had either a graduating senior or 2 graduating seniors, in my case at Penn State, to at least come in and have the opportunity to compete right away. Obviously nothing is or was guaranteed to me, but it was, hey, if you come in and there's an opportunity for you, if you come in ready and prepared. But I think understanding and knowing exactly what you want. I mean, we had some players on our team that they knew they were probably player 30 through 34, but they wanted the big college football school experience. They wanted to be part of the team and do all that, which they were just as much a part of the team as the starting 11 and different things like that. So we then had some players that, you want to be a 90-minute player, you want to be a starter, you want to do this, but you can't do that at a top 10, top 20 school. So you go to a different one. You go to somewhere that you can be on the field all the time. And, my sister chose to go to Messiah College, which is, Division III school, but I mean, I think people get caught up in the divisions too much, and I mean, she lost 2 games in her college career. They were both national championships. She won 2 national championships in the process. So it's like, leading goal scorer.
That's not bad. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can pick, I think people get really caught up too much in the status of the school or the division or whatever that looks like. And it's the beauty of college athletics is being part of a team and competing and getting to continue to play. And then just being, I think, having some self-awareness and some different things about what your skill set is, and what your skill level is, and what you want out of listen to the coaches when they tell you where they see you, how they see you, and then just try to make the most educated decision that you could. And that's what I did. And I remember going on my visit and my dad asking me when we were walking around Penn State, he's like, okay, let's just say the worst happens, you have a career-ending injury day 1 of preseason. Let's just have a conversation. Would you still want to come to this school? And I was able to thought about it, and I was like, actually, yeah. It's like, I would absolutely still want to go to this school. So I think that's important as well, to kind of take the sports side out of it a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's such good advice. If you get the chance to play a sport in college at all, it's so incredible, right? And I mean, my own experience at Northwestern, I literally had to learn. That's where I learned all my time management skills. And like you probably remember, I mean, we were busy all day long.
Yeah.
It's like a full day of academics and then a full day of sports. So to this day, I mean, it helps us get through our busy lives and allocate whatever minutes we need throughout the day. But there's so many lessons you learn from. It's incredible to play at any level in college, and it's so good for these kids. All right, so transition now to being a professional athlete. Did you any struggles there being a rookie? Do you remember those days? What was that like?
Yeah, it was funny. I came in first round draft pick, was doing really well, and I knew I got drafted to Boston, and Tony DeChico was the coach, and he had been my U20s coach. He had been my my Soccer Plus coach, the team I would come and play for in the summers while I was home from college. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. He trusts me, he knows me. And he left me home for our first weekend. I was like, and I wasn't the starter. One of the other, Ashley Phillips was starting. And I was like, okay. I was like, this is, so that was that was hard transitioning at the beginning. And I think just trying to adjust to the pace, adjust to the intensity, and adjust to the speed. Fortunately, I was able to do it relatively quickly, and tried to learn as much as I could in preseason, and kind of in that process of just kind of keep, put my head down, go to work, try to get better, try to continue to prove that I was ready and prove that I belonged. And I was really fortunate we had such great veterans on the team Christine Lilly and Leslie Osborne and Kelly Smith. So to be able to just learn from players like that, Amy LaPelbit and Rachel Bueller were my 2 center backs. So to be able to learn from them and just watch what it meant and how they carried themselves every day at training and every game, and how they prepared and how they recovered, I think was huge for me to learn as a young player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you and was it a bit into your professional career that you went to the full national team, or had you already been a part of that project?
I had already been into I think 2 camps before I had gone to Boston. I had gotten the first call up during my senior year at Penn State. So I'd already been with the national team for a couple training camps. So, I mean, I was like, I thought that I was ready. And I think, I felt ready and this and that, but I think, obviously trusting, Tony's decisions and not wanting to kind of put somebody in a position that maybe too early or not ready or different things. Obviously, I think as frustrating as it was looking back on it, it was probably, the right decision. It was probably helpful for me in development to take that time to learn and watch and to see what the league was really like.
And when was your first cap? What was that like?
My first cap was not for, I was with the team for 5 years before I got my first cap with the national team. So my first camp was 2009. My first cap was not till 2014.
Wow.
So it was kind of a long grind of training and getting close and, being told maybe this game, and just not having it kind of pan out until it just kind of, again, had to keep waiting and just working hard. And try to be, I think the thing with the national team especially is you never know when your opportunity is going to come, and you just have to be prepared as possible. So when that opportunity comes, like you don't know that you're going to get a second one. So you got to take advantage of it and make sure you're ready. But that was a really cool experience. Actually, it had gotten, we're walking through the hotel to go to the game. I know that I'm starting. I know that it's going to be my first cap. And it gets canceled. It got rained out, so we had to go back up. So we were going to play it the next day. So I had 24 hours more to stress about it. But
talking about icing the kicker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
But it was great. I think it was obviously a really special moment. I think having to have waited that long for it probably made it even more special to finally have the moment, have the opportunity. And yeah, it was definitely very cool.
And how did that game go?
We won 7-0. We beat Argentina.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have much work to do?
Not much. No. I got a couple pass backs. I think maybe touched the ball a couple of times with my hands, but no, it's probably a good first game to get thrown into.
I was going to say we don't mind that. We don't mind that, right? Yeah. That's amazing. And then looking back after, I mean, that was 2014. So 10 years with the national team. A couple highlights. I mean, there's the obvious ones, but what are, when you look back, what are a couple of great memories?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, winning is always going to stand out as when you have those moments. 2019 and 2024, obviously, most recently in 2015 as well. And even getting the bronze in Tokyo was obviously we always wanted gold medal, but to come away with an Olympic medal at all, especially after not podiumed in 2016 and knowing how that felt, I think to be able to walk away with something was still very gratifying. But I think outside of obviously the obvious moments and the podiums and the celebrations, I think it's just a really special, cool, team to be a part of. You get to, the journey that each of us go on. It's like all the little moments along the way. It's all the little moments that you see in those big moments in the games. The reason I get so excited to see, even this most recent Olympics and watching Mal score the game in the final and Trin have the one in the quarterfinal and Soph the one in the semifinal. I watched those three train those moments for the last couple years, like every training session, different things. So it's like those things don't just happen. And I think that's then why you see a lot of the celebration. That's why you see always me running to center backs or center backs running back to me is the relationships you build in the months and years leading into those tournaments are filled with so many amazing memories and moments that when you get to then celebrate them and you get to celebrate the victories, that's why they're so special and impactful.
Man, I love that. People don't see the bazillion hours of grinding.
Exactly.
We just see the celebration.
Yeah.
It looked like the celebration in Paris and the elation on everybody's faces was even extra special. It just seemed like, was there just because of the grind and being there for so long or whatever, how do you describe that moment? It just seemed like for you, being always one of the coolest and with a smile on your face, but it seemed like you were just so elated. How do you describe it?
Yeah, it was a special group to be a part of. I think it felt very similar to the team that we had in 2019, just in it was kind of a cool, I think in 2019 for me it was my crew that we'd kind of grown up together and played together for so many years, and So when you're together on a team for so long, you know everybody else's story, you know everybody else's journey, you know what got them to that point, and we kind of were on that ride together, which made that group so special. And I think similarly now, being part of this most recent one in 2024, being the older one, being the watching kind of the next generation building that and having that, you could feel that closeness in their journey, and also still being able to be a part of that and being accepted into that group. And I think there's, something we had talked about before the tournament started was, for the first time in recent memory, if at all, there was nobody on that team that had an Olympic gold medal. So I think when we had been going into previous tournaments, there was always at least one, if not more, players that had either a World Cup gold medal or an Olympic gold medal, like on that team as you're fighting and competing for the next one. So this was the first time that none of us had an Olympic gold medal. So we had kind of talked about that as being like, this is a unique opportunity for the 22 of us sitting here in this room, like, and being part of this team, to kind of go do something together. And I think that was really galvanizing for the group to have that mindset.
Amazing. Did you go and be a fan at other sports? Did you watch some other sports?
We weren't really in Paris.
Right.
All over France. So outside of the quarterfinal, which we were only in Paris for like 24 hours for, and then obviously the final, but we had trying to stay focused on our game, and there was only two days in between each game, so just rest, recovery, and preparation.
Yeah, laying around with your feet up or something. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, hopefully you got to catch up. It was incredible Olympics all around. You guys were a highlight for us, but watching so many amazing performances, it really was incredible. And then, so looking forward now, obviously we all hope that you play soccer. Oh, I did want to ask, I just interrupted myself. For my money, you're the best goalkeeper in the world, but you might also be the best penalty kick taker in the world. Did you have to convince a coach to insert you into that lineup? And obviously you're doing incredible at that, and you've proved yourself right. But was that something that you had to argue for?
No. That was just, it's part of our training. It's part of our preparation. Anytime you're in a tournament that can potentially go to penalty kicks. And then it's just, coaches make the decisions based on, what they're watching. I don't know what goes into all their decisions, and sure, there's a million different factors at play for them to do that. But no, that was never a conversation.
Looking forward, we all hope that you play at a high level for the next 30 years so we can continue watching you. But hopes and dreams for after you get done being a player?
I think I'll probably do some kind of combination of, I don't know that I'll leave the game altogether, but I think there's definitely some things separate from soccer that I would like to get into somewhere down the road. But I think it's still important I have, in the 20-year career or so that I've had, I've been very, blessed with a lot of different experiences. And I think I've gone through a lot of hard things. I've gone through a lot of exciting things. I've had all the rewards, a lot of disappointments. And I think that, being in, playing through two different leagues, as well as seeing what works and what doesn't work, I think is where I can see myself being valuable and helpful, is being able to kind of share those experiences and learnings along the way, whether it's with different professional teams as they're looking to continue to improve the, player care, player relations, player experience within as a professional, or, some sort of mentorship with younger players coming into the league, and what that can look like, of what to prepare for, what to be ready for, what to expect. So not fully decided yet, but yeah, That's the idea.
Yeah, I love that. And circling back to the kind of the game changers idea here at Intentional Sports, and how we try to use sports as a vehicle to change lives and hopefully improve the city of Chicago. Really just giving these kids an opportunity to play. It sounds like where you grew up, you started as a 5-year-old where I grew up. I joke that my mom forced me to play soccer because I was probably ADHD and she wanted me to run it off. But we had the opportunity to play, and it, now a ball obviously has taken you to the top of the top and all over the world. And for me, it's, opened a lot of doors as well. But it just teaches life lessons. So, how would you like to, use the game? Obviously, you're already an influence and an example, but it sounds like you'd like to somehow work in the game as well and do something to change lives of others.
Yeah, I think so. I think whether that doesn't necessarily have to stay like directly involved, like in a league or in a team or necessarily things like that. But I think being, I guess, available or using the connections that I've made or using the experiences that I've had to be able to, share those experiences or share those. Again, I completely agree with you. I think that sports are such an avenue for connection and growth and development, and builds character, and learning how to deal with disappointment, learning how to deal with frustration, learning how to deal with and work as a team when you don't get along with everybody on your team, or you do get along with everybody on your team. There's always, how do you handle conflict? I think there's so many things that sport can teach outside of just trying to win trophies and trying to win championships. Obviously, all of that's the reward at the end of it. But I think each of us have our own unique journeys that we can all share in our own way, whether that's, some people choose podcasting, some people choose to write books, some people choose to do camps and clinics, some people just choose to connect to a team and be a consultant with a team and get brought in to talk to high schools and kids. So I think there's a lot of different opportunity out there, and trying to kind of narrow down and hone in on where I can see the best fit is probably, so I haven't landed on it fully yet, but certainly don't want to. I have, 36 years of experience in it. So however I can kind of best utilize that to help the next generation, I'd like to.
I love it. And ending with this, do you have, something that you have learned which you consider to be a real valuable lesson, or that you would share? We started with, I work with a girls team, but we have girls in the game from age 4 all the way up. Do you have a piece of advice that you can give to our little listeners? Yeah,
I think what I've kind of landed on the last couple of years, like, never stop learning. Like there's always something to, even me at 36, I'm learning things every day. I'm trying to evolve, trying to, even now it's been interesting. I always was like learning from the veterans and learning from the players that were older than me and from their experiences. And I now have that responsibility as well to kind of teach and impart wisdom on younger ones and new, but also now I'm realizing, like, I'm actually learning a lot from my younger teammates as well. And I think that's been kind of cool in the last year or so, to be able to kind of embrace that side of it also. But there's always something to learn if you're willing to keep yourself open to it.
I love that. Always be learning. That's amazing. Well, Alyssa, my friend, thanks so much for joining us as fans, as a soccer person, but also a dad of 2 soccer players. Just want to make sure that you know how much we appreciate you, not just watching you play, but how you play and how you carry yourself and the way that you kind of live your life. You're such a good example for all these little girls and boys and soccer players in general of being a good professional, but also just an awesome human. So we want to say thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So thanks for joining us on Game Changer Podcast. Guys, please you can subscribe here, get more eyeballs to what we're doing at Intentional Sports. You can share this story. Come see us in Chicago, where we're trying to make a difference through sports. And Alyssa, we wish you the best in these as you're making a push here to make the playoffs, and we can't wait to keep cheering for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks so much. We'll see you
Bye.
next time. Okay.
Okay.